What's up, guys? Bill here. In this video, I'm going to review my main trade I took today, which was Tesla, and kind of talk about some things, some good teaching moments to go along with why I took this trade and some of the execution and things like that. All right, so we're going to be talking about Tesla, and this was a play that I posted about publicly on Twitter last night. It was my top watch for a few reasons. One, it's an inside day here, as you can see. Second, it had a ton of bullish flow. Two of its chains were in the top four of the entire market on the call side. And as you can see, just looking at the chart, it had been kind of bottoming here, putting in a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders, was a bullish pattern on the daily, and it gapped up over a major psych level and was able to flag and hold that level and hold these EMAs that started curling up. All of these things are bullish to me, okay? And so I entered the day wanting to play this inside day breakout to the upside. And here's how I executed it. Let's look at the smaller time frame charts. And one thing I want to talk about today in this video is stocks and their personalities. And what do I mean by that? Well, certain stocks trade in ways that kind of have a pattern or something that reliably happens. And over time, you kind of start to notice these things. Like some stocks trade very volatile. They make big moves up, big moves down, kind of sudden and strong. And some traders like this because they like to try to take advantage of that volatility. And some traders ignore that or don't want anything to do with it for the exact same reason. You know, they like something that moves maybe a little smoother, a little slower. So stocks like AI, Mara, Carvana, are kind of like some of those volatile stocks that will really move quickly all over the place. And then on the flip side, some more maybe trustworthy, reliable, slow-moving stocks are things like Ford or Apple from the bigger names, right? And with Tesla, there's a couple personality traits I've noticed about this stock over the years, and I don't trade it every day, you know, but I've traded it enough and watched it enough that there's a couple things I look for. One, it likes to make moves early, right off the open, and it does a lot of its work for that whole day in the first 30 minutes to hour. It has a much bigger opening range than your average stock, like compare it to SPY, for instance. It does a lot early, okay? And that can be, you know, to the long side or short side. And another thing it likes to do is when it has a bigger pre-market range, it likes to sweep that range to one side and rip the other way. And does it do this every day? Of course not, because that would be too easy, right? If we found a stock that did the exact same thing every day, we'd all be rich. But it is something when you notice one of those quirks about a stock that you can keep in your back pocket and put to work for you when the time is right. And so coming into today, inside day setup on Tesla. So my key levels here are the previous day's high and the previous day's close. And I see that there's a decent amount of range here on Tesla in pre-market. And so, you know, I wake up in the morning and I set my pre-market high and low. And where do we open here? We open right here, okay? Roughly in the middle of the pre-market and a little bit to the high side of the inside day range. And immediately I start to, you know, commit to a plan that I'm going to look for a sweep of the pre-market low to go long. Now, remember, I was bullish on this stock coming into the day. I know I want to go long. The traditional thing is to wait for, you know, either a breach of this level to try to catch momentum or wait for some type of confirmation. But instead, I said, if it pulls back, and it might not pull back, right? We open here. We could have just ripped straight up. If that was the case, I would have tried to take the momentum trade through the previous day's high. That's something I do all the time on inside days, okay? But ideally, I wanted just a little pullback. Give me a pullback early, and let me scoop some calls on this sweep of the low. And that's what I was able to do. And in this situation, I'm going to be looking to scale. My main target is 240. But this is an inside day, right? And we know these levels, you know, this is a good place where if there's going to be a rejection, it could reject here. So I'm in down here. And by this time, you know, we're pumping already up to previous day's high. I think I was up around 50 to 60% on the weeklies at that point. That's a big trim. Okay. Then where's our next spot? Our pre-market high, right? Just in case comes up here and sweeps that side and sells back into the inside day range. So now we're trimming again here. And this all happened pretty quick. This is all within 15 minutes, right? Just 3 5-minute candles. Take another scale there at pre-market high. And now I just want to get to 240. And I sold towards the top of this candle. I don't need to see a level touch, guys. As you can see, we got within 25 cents initially on this candle, and then pulled back over $1. When I'm trading things like Tesla, SPY, Qs, and they're coming to big whole numbers like this, I'll take my scale a little early. 25 cents early, 30 cents early, depending on the stock, right? Because, you know, that's where you start to incur that pressure and that profit taking, because everyone's kind of thinking the same thing, right? We're part of a group here, whether we know it or not, trading this same trade, and people are ready to take their profit at 240. So I do the same. And I'm setting break-even stops on these positions and just trying to hold runners. And it kept going. And I really didn't have a major level until 246.70 again. We didn't come close to that, but it was strong today. Tesla was strong. Once it broke 240, it held it really well. Look at that respect. This 240 positive GEX. Remember, positive GEX levels are propellants, but like traditional support and resistance, they can flip. So once we close, what you want to see is you try to trust this 240, it's going to hold. And yeah, we did pull back here, and that's a little scary. That's a little wicky there, but it never loses it all day. It holds it. Now, do these levels do this all the time? Does it hold all day once you close a 15 minutes into the day? Will it hold for 6 hours? No. But this is just one good example of how they work and how you want to see them work. But yeah, guys, so that's my point on Tesla today. Was I kind of took a tried and true setup for me, the inside day breakouts, and I just applied some things I'd learned over the years watching Tesla and some of its traits, its personality, to help give me a little bit better edge. I could have sat back and waited until this inside day broke out and got in on the momentum and still had a great trade, right? A $6 move. But because, of my time spent in front of the screens and being observant and watching, you know, different stocks and tracking and doing a lot of charting, I was able to get an even better entry on this plan. So that's something to keep in mind, guys. And you know, when you trade certain group of stocks, this is why I only follow a certain group of stocks. It just helps to see the same things over and over and start to, you know, identify those patterns, identify those personalities. It just gives you a little bit more of an edge in the market, and you can use that with your tried and true setups, the things that you can back test, the things that you use every day to win, and just kind of strengthen your winning percentage, increase your profits, and all that. So hopefully that helps today. Just a short video. Just Tesla was pretty much my entire day today. So that's all I'm going to talk about. And until next time, if you have any questions, just leave a comment or find me on Twitter and I'll help you out.